Well, it's too late for the video with Moose Frothy, but I finally have my long-awaited Moose co-star for a video. Can you see her? I'm not going to get any closer than she already was to me a little bit earlier because that's not a fight that I feel like having. I like moose, there ought to be more of them. I am Dr. Jackson Crawford, and today I am going to continue my series of reading through Hávamál in Old Norse, explaining the Old Norse as I go. And this video, stanza 17 to the justly famous 38. See the previous video in this series where my co-star were a couple horses and of course legions of mosquitoes are also with me this time, and some Lincoln sparrows on the river. And there you'll see some caveats, like I'm using Old Norse reconstructed pronunciation rather than modern Icelandic. The text that I'm reading from is my own presentation of the text that's in the manuscript, although with normalized spelling, etc. All right, stanza 17. Kópir afglapi til kunnis kömur, þyrsk hann eða þrúmir. Allt senn ef hann silg getr, uppi þó geð guma. A fool stares. Afglapi is fool. This is related to glepia, to confuse, almost a bewildered one. Stares, kopir. This is one of those words that is found in modern Norwegian dialects, kupa, but not for the most part in modern Icelandic. So this is one of those stanzas that shows us that the text of Hávamál likely has a Norwegian origin. So fool stares, who comes to a feast, kemur til kunnis. He talks to himself, þyrsk. Þylur is from thylja, which means to speak. It is actually typically a very radical, very formal way of speaking, but to speak to oneself seems like it's probably not very theatrical, or he is a fool after all. So he speaks to himself, or he lurks, thrúmir, from thruma, lurk, brood, to be silent, to sit around being silent. Just as soon, altersen, that's an idiom, so just as soon, if he gets a swallow, if hann getur silg, then þó is the man's mind up, guma geð uppi, presumably meaning visible. So basically he'll say whatever he knows as soon as he gets a drink. Compare the way that the fame of Sigurður or some of the other Volsung heroes is said to be uppi meðan veröldin stendur, while the world stands. So it is up, it is visible, it is noticeable. 18. Sá ein veit víða rattar og hefur fjöld farit. Hverju geði stýrir gumna hver, sá vitandi vits. That one alone, sá ein, knows, veit, who wanders widely, rattar víða, and has gone a lot around, og hefur farit fjöld Fjöld typically means a lot, a great quantity, a great amount. It can be used adverbially as it is here. And specifically what he knows is hverju geði, what kind of mind each man, hver gumna steers, styrir, that one who is knowing, so vitandi, of wisdom or of wit, vits. So that one alone knows, who has wandered widely and has gone widely around. Lines 2 and 3 a little bit redundant. What kind of mind every kind of wise man has. I guess you went behind the tree. 19. Haldit maður og kerri, drekki þó at hófi mjóð, meli þarft eða þegi. Ókynnis þess vorþekk engi maður, að þú gangir snemma að sofa. Let a man, maður, hold halli not, that negative suffix t, onto the drinking vessel. So let a man not hold onto the drinking vessel. Let him though, drekki though, let him though drink, drekki being drink. These are subjunctives, so I'm translating them as let, because subjunctive verbs often put at the first element of the sentence have a jussive force like this. So let him drink though, mead, mjöð, moderately, at moderation, at a reasonable amount, at hovi. Let him speak, mali, the needed, tharft, or be silent, thegi. No man, engi maður, blames you, vorthik, and you blame someone for something in the genitives. They don't blame you for the discourtesy, thes okenis, that you go early to sleep. At thu ganger snema at sova. So you have the first half of this stanza expressed in third person subjunctives, let him, let the man, let one. But then it transitions in the second half into the second person, you. So I translate the whole thing in second person. As I mentioned in the first half, I'm inclined to translate most of these advice stanzas into second person, because that's just how we talk about these things in English. I moved a little bit during the intermission so you could see my lady friend a little bit better. She's right there. All right. 20. Gróðugur hallar nema gets viti, etter ser aldertrega. Oft fer hlugis með horskum kömur, manni heimskum magi. A greedy man, gróðugur hallar, eats life sorrow aldertrega for himself, ser, so presumably eats lifelong sorrow for himself. Unless nema, he may know, viti, his mind gets. Now, to know with a genitive object, also we saw this in stanza 12, seems to have a sense of be in control of. So unless he's in control of his mind, in control of his disposition, his mood, his personality, he will eat lifelong sorrow for himself. A stomach, last word in the last line, magi, often earns laughter, oft fer hlugis. Fall with the genitive object has a particular sense of either get a woman or earn, in this case obviously earn. So often a stomach earns laughter for a stupid man, heimskum mani, who comes among the wise, kummer með horskum. She walked away again. 21. Hjarðir that vittu, när þeir heim skulu, og ganga þó af grasi. En ósvíðarmaður kann evagi, since mál maga. Herds know it, hjarðir vittu that, i.e. herds of cattle, when they should, and then the verb go, fara, is often left out in the poetry of Hávamál. So when they should go home, när þeir skulu heim, and walk then from the grass, or ganga þó af grasi. But a stupid man, an ósvíðarmaður, never knows, avagi kan, the measure, mole, of his maw, mouth, appetite, since maga. 22. Vessalmaður og illa skapi hlæra hvívetna. Hitki hann veit hann vita þyrfti að hann at vama vannar. A poor man, perhaps poor of intellect, poor of disposition, and bad with regard to shape, illa skapi. Often skap is used of mental shape, so he's just all around a mentally bad person. Laughs at everything, hlæra hvívetna. He does not know it, han veit hitki, hit being it with a negative suffix there, ki, which he needed to know, han þyrfti vita, that he is not, at han erat, free of faults, vannar vama. Now it's well known that Hávamál has some particular lines that are similar in tone or even in wording with some other Old Norse works of similar time. One in particular is Högsvindsmal, which is an Old Norse translation of the distichs of Cato into the Ljóðháttr meter, much like Hávamál is. And it seems to be very influenced by Hávamál because Högsvindsmal, stanza 21, line 6 reads, At þor Hávamál var, that few are, it's really grammatically singular in Old Norse, but few are aware of faults. This is almost certainly at least influenced by the wording here in Hávamál. 23. O svíðarmaður, vakir allar nætur og hyggur at hvívetna. Þá móður at morgni kemur, allt vil sem var. An unwise man, O svíðarmaður again, wakes, oh she's back, all nights, allar nætur, and thinks about everything, og hyggur at hvívetna. Then he is tired, móður, when it comes to morning, kemur at morgni. Everything is a problem, allt vil, which was sem var. So he thinks about all the stuff all night, but nothing gets any better. His problems are still his problems in the morning. 24. O snottarmaður, hyggur sér alla vera, við hlæjander vinni. Hitki hann finnur, þó þegar hann fór lesi, ef hann með snotrum sitter. Unwise man thinks all with laughers, alla við hlæjander, to be vera, friends, vinni, to him, ser. So unwise man thinks everybody laughs with him as his friend. He does not find it, han finnur hitki, again, hit it with a negative suffix. Though they slander him, þó þeir lesi for han, it's an idiom, at lesa for, to read danger about someone is to slander them. If he sits among the wise. So he thinks everybody laughs at them as his friend, and he doesn't understand that they're mocking him when he sits among the people wiser than he is. The poor fellow. 25. O snottarmaður, hyggur sér alla vera, við hlæjander vinni. Same beginning. The unwise man thinks everybody who laughs at him is his friend. Þó það finnur at þingi kemur, at hann og formælender få. Then he finds it, þó finnur það, when he comes to the thing, right, the legal council, the gathering, that he has few speakers, formælender, so he has few speakers on his behalf, few people who will speak up for him. 26. O snottarmaður, þykist allt vita, ef hann sér í vo veru. Hitki hann veit, what hann skal við kveða, ef hans freista fyrar. An unwise man thinks he knows everything. Þykist, so again here we have, he thinks of himself, þykir sick, to know everything. So he thinks he knows everything. If he has for himself, if hann sér, in woe, í vo, a shelter, veru. So if he has a shelter in woe, if he's got himself a shelter in, and woe could also be corner, but probably here, if he finds himself a shelter in woe, so if he finds himself a corner to hide in, is one way to think about this, although using veru as corner, he thinks he knows everything, right? So if he has a place to sort of retreat to, right? If he has a place that he can safely mock you from, internet trolls, right? He thinks he knows everything. He does not know it, han veit hitki, what he shall respond, what han skal kveða við, if men test him, ef fyrar freista hans. So he feels like he knows everything if he's all alone, but he doesn't know what to say to other people if they actually press him. 27. O snottarmaður, með aldir kemur, það batst at hann þegi. Engi það veit at hann ekki kann, nema hann mæli til margt. Veita maður, hinn vetki veit, þótt hann mæli til margt. An unwise man who comes among men, looks like she walked away again, It is best that he be silent, that batsar han thegi. No one knows it, engi vet that he knows nothing, at han kan ekki, unless he speaks too much, nema han madly till mart. A man does not know, maður veit that one who knows nothing, hin vet verki, though he speaks too much. So the man who knows nothing doesn't know that he talks too much, right? Or though he talks so much, he doesn't know anything. Right, how would you put that in a line word by word? Probably start with the ninth line in English. Though he speaks too much, so much, though han meli till mart, that man who knows nothing, hin maður vet verki, doesn't know, vet That might be how I'd rearrange that into English word order if I were going word by word. 28. Fróður so þykkisk fregna kann og segja it sama. Vittu launa megu yta sunnir því gengrum gumma. That one seems wise, so thickest fróður, who can ask kann fregna, and say the same, och segja it sama. So presumably someone who knows how to ask questions and answer them. Sons of men, sunnir yta, thus men, may not hide, cannot hide, megu loina oivitu, or they may hide oivitu, nothing, of that thvi which goes about a man, thvi gengur guma. So men cannot keep a secret of what is said about a man. Right, people spread rumors, people spread malicious sayings, or good things too. 29. Urna mälir så äva þegir, stad lausu stavi. Hraðmæl tunga nema haldender eigi, off ser ógott geller. That one who is never silent, så äva þegir, speaks much, mälir urna, plenty, stad lausu stavi, placeless, meaningless, stad lausu, words stavi. A rare use of stavr to mean word, but not unparalleled. A quick-spoken tongue, hraðmæl tunga, unless holders own it, so unless the owner controls it, often sings ungood, oft geller ógott, for itself, ser. 30. At augabragði skalla maður annan hafa, þótt til kynnis komi. Margar þó fróður þykkisk, ef hann fregin at, og nói hann dúrfjallar trúma. A man shall not, maður skalla, have another, hafa annan, another man, at augabragði, as a laughingstock. Though he comes to a visit, þótt komi til kynnis. So presumably some sense here, like somebody visits maybe from a different culture, different corner of the world, maybe not as familiar with how you do things around here, wherever here may be, one ought not to mock him. Many a man, margar, seems wise, þykkisk fróður, if he is not asked, if hann at fregin, and he gets to, och hann nói, lurk or brood thruma, dry skin, þur fjallar. What the exact sense of the last half is not clear, nor is it clear how it connects to the first half, which has a fairly clear message. 31. Fróður þykkisk så flota tekker, gestur at gest hæðin. Veita gorla så verði glissir, þótt hann með grómum glami. That one who takes to mock, who begins to mock, so tekker flota, seems wise, þykkisk fróður, a guest, sarcastic or mocking at a guest, gestur hæðin at guest. He does not know well, veita gorla, that one who grins at a feast, so glissir verði, or at feasts, though he mocks with men, þótt hann glami með grómum. The general sense of this stanza, which is wrongly transmitted, at least in one word, I'll get to that in a moment, is that the one who mocks another is he may seem wise, but he doesn't necessarily know very much about the person that he's mocking, even though other men may laugh with him. Let me tell you why there's something wrong, at least one thing wrong with the stanza. In line 3, that's a C line of Ljóðaháttr. I've explained Ljóðaháttr meter in a video that I'll link in a card at the top right. And one sort of obscure rule of the C line is that you cannot end with a two-syllable word that is a metrically heavy syllable in the first syllable. So that means either has a long vowel, which a is always, or is a short vowel followed by two consonants. So that is not the correct word, but it does make sense in context, so we've just got to work with what we've got. I also think that what the manuscript has in line 2, which is flota, F-L-O-T-T-A, which is flee, is probably incorrect. I accept Guðmundur Finnbogason's emendation to flota with a long A, which would have sounded very similar to the 1200s Icelandic scribe, and would probably be a more obscure word, because flota, to mock, is preserved only in Norwegian dialects. We don't have it attested anywhere in Icelandic, but again, Hávamál seems to have a fairly clear Norwegian provenance. 32. Gumnar margir erusk gagenhollir ennat virdi rekask. Alda róg that mun vera órir gestur with guest. So, a lot of talk about guests here. Of course, Hávamál fairly freely calls a human being gestur, guest, but also these early stanzas do have this sort of frame about guests and hosts that's pretty persistent. Many men, margir gumnar, are to one another, erusk, sk being the reciprocal suffix, mutually kind, gagenhollir, but fight each other, vrekask, at a feast. Now, the manuscript says rekask, and that's how I write it, but the fact that we need in that C line to have another alliteration with the other lift, virdi, V, means that this was probably composed before about 1000 when VR changed to R in Old West Norse, so in Icelandic, Norwegian, Faroese. So before 1000 or so in Icelandic or Norwegian, you would expect this to be vrekask, even though the manuscript written in the 1200s says rekask. Now in Old East Norse and Old Swedish, Old Danish, you do still see that V. You still see it in Swedish vrak, rek, Danish vlau, rek, which are from the same root today. Or in English rek, where that WR comes from the same source as the VR in archaic Old West Scandinavian or modern East Scandinavian. Anyway, suggests this stanza, and by extension, probably the bulk of the Ljóðaháttr stanzas that make up Gestaþóttir, the first part of Hávamál, do precede the year 1000 when Iceland converted to Christianity, at least in their original oral composition. Aldaróg, strife, rogue, of a man, among men, aldaróg, that will always be, thatmun vera, so there will always be strife among men. A guest fights against a guest, gestur, órir, with guest. Now interestingly, that verb for to fight, óra, is only preserved in some old Swedish laws, so we have some real archaic vocabulary here. Of course, that may also imply that stanzas like this have, rather than necessarily an archaic source, they could have an East Scandinavian, right, perhaps Old Swedish source. 33. Årliga verðar skulle maður oft få nema til kunnis komi. Sitter och snopir, läter sem solgen sig och kan räkna att få. A man, maður, ought often to get, skulle oft få, early his meal, årliga verðar, so a man ought to eat early, unless he comes on a visit, nema komi til kunnis. He sits and he gets sluggish. Sitter och snopir. Norwegian dialects have a verb snopa that means to sit around sluggishly. That's probably what this is. He acts like he's starved. Later sem se solgen. That se is subjunctive, implying that he's not really starved. And he can ask or talk about nothing or few. Kan fregna at få. Fregna typically means ask. It can also mean to educate another, right? To talk about. 34. Afvarv mikit til ills vinnar, thought og brautu bui. En til goths vinnar ligja gagenveger, thought han se fyr farin. A great off-turning, off-warf, big detour inconvenient road is to a bad friend til ilsvinnar, though he lives on the road, þótt búi ó bratu. So though he may live on the same road as you, he may live very close, it's still a bad road to a bad friend. But to a good friend, til góðsvinnar, lie gainways, profit ways, gagnvegar, though he be, þótt hann sé, far away gone, fyrr farin. By the way, in line 3, notice that you may think that this violates that rule I mentioned in the Odahotar, that you can't have a two-syllable word that has the first syllable being metrically heavy because that is a long vowel, but a long vowel followed by a short vowel without any intervening consonants, that doesn't count, so bui is fine. 35. Gangaskall, skalla gestur vera, oi I einum stað. Ljúfur verður leiður, ef lengi sitter, annars fletjum á. Shall go, one shall go, you shall go. Shall not be a guest, skalla vera gestur, forever in one place, oi I einum stað. A loved becomes a hated, ljúfur verður leiður, so a loved man becomes a hated man, if he sits long, if sitter lengi, on another's floors, or annars fletjum. 36. Bú betra, þótt lítið sé, hallar heima hver. Þótt tvær geitar eigi og tá greftan sal, that þó betra en bön. A house, residence, bú, is better, betra, though it be little, þótt sé lítið. A man, every man, hver hallar, is at home. So every man has a place called home, or ought to have a place called home, probably. Though he owns, þótt eigi, though he may own, this is subjunctive, so kind of a sense of doubt or just example here, though he may own 2 goats and a rope-roofed hall, so a house with just rope for a roof and nothing better than that, that is still better than a prayer, þátt þó betra en bön, and that is not just prayer to a god, but prayer to somebody else, like I pray, beg, it's better than begging. Beg and pray are the same in Old Norse. 37. Bú betra, þótt lítið sé, hallar heima hver. Same first half. Better to have a house, though it be little, every man ought to be home. Blóðugt hjarta, þeim biðja skall, seri mól hvert matar. Residence is better, though it be little, every man is at home, ought to be home. Heart is bloody, hjarta blóðugt, for the one who shall beg, þeim skall biðja, for himself, ser, in every meal, hvert mál is food. You beg for something in the genitive, so you beg for matar, genitive of matar, food. So a man's heart is bloody, that means wounded, right, in pain, if he has to beg for his food in each meal. Now 38. Vopnum sinum skalla maður velli ó fetti ganga framar, því at óvíst at vita nær verður og vegum úti, gers þorf guma. A man, mother, shall not go skalla ganga on the plain or veli. Again, I think I mentioned this in the last video. This is used to alliterate with V's. It really can be understood as anywhere. His weapons, sinum vopnum, fetti framar, a foot further. So a man must not, shall not go a foot further from his weapons, because it is uncertain to know því at óvíst at vita, when there may be outside on the roads, nær verður úti á vegum, need for a spear, þorf gers, much like the Thorf stanzas at the very beginning of Hávamál. We have Thorf, and then the genitive of the thing that's needed, and then the dative of the person who needs it. Need of a spear for a man. So a man must not go even a foot from his weapons. It's uncertain to know when a man is going to need a spear, or of course, in modern parlance, perhaps a 1911, such as the patent papers for which I am wearing on this shirt. All right, folks, well, I hope that was a unique or interesting or useful look at those stanzas of Hávamál for you, and I'm going to keep doing this, perhaps with new animal guests every time. That would be lovely. And for now, I hope that you will check out my Wanderer's Hávamál when it becomes available in fall. It will be a fine complement to these videos and vice versa. And in conclusion, as always, please know that whoever you are, I'm wishing you all the best from beautiful Wyoming.